Thailand. Equity markets have collapsed as the rapidly spreading coronavirus fans fears over the global economy, while a crash in oil prices added to the panic, with energy firms taking a hammering. As the deadly disease claims more lives around the world, dealers are fleeing out of riskier assets and into safe havens, sending gold and the yen surging and pushing U.S. Treasury yields to new record lows. While government and central banks have unleashed or prepared to roll out stimulus measures, the spread of COVID-19 is putting a huge strain on economies and stoking concerns of a worldwide recession. Trading floors were at sea of red, with Tokyo, Sydney, and Manila plunging around 6%, while Hong Kong shed 3.5% by lunch. Mumbai, Singapore, Seoul, Jakarta, and Wellington were more than 3% down. Shanghai and Taipei shed at least 2%, and Bangkok gave up 5%. The losses tracked sharp falls in Europe and Wall Street on Friday. Driving the declines was a ferocious sell-off in the oil market, sparked by top exporter Saudi Arabia slashing prices, in some cases to unprecedented levels, after a bust-up with Russia over production.
We've now reached the half-hour mark on Radio Thailand's News Hour. It's time for us to bid farewell to our friends on FM 95.5 and FM 107. As for our listeners on FM 88, we'll continue with more of the latest news.
Welcome to Relax Time Radio, broadcast nightly from 7:30 to 9 p.m. on Radio Thailand, Chiang Mai.
Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM on the one and only women's show on a Monday, March the 9th. This is DJ Jacklyn with you, and together with
DJ Meredith.
Yes, and you can see us on YouTube live stream now.
Hello, everybody.
I've got makeup on my face.
Yeah, good thing you reminded me this week.
So usually Meredith and myself, we don't really put makeup. We're not live
pretty natural baseball cap kind of thing.
Just chill and relax and have a good time in the studio. Well, as you can see, we have an empty seat right now because our guest, Miss Mitos Urgel, Kun Mitos, is actually on her way to the studio.
Right.
All right. So we hope she makes it here as quickly as she could fly.
Yes. Yeah, if she could fly, she would be here quite quickly.
Exactly. So how are you feeling today, Meredith?
I'm feeling very, very good. And you?
Very excited, particularly. Because we have a very special guest, which we hope she made it in time. Da-da!
She'll be here.
Yes, and
She'll
she's
come.
got so much to share with us.
I know.
A wealth of experience, knowledge, as well as being a little fireball, I call her.
Yeah.
Because she's got so much energy, very passionate with what she's doing, especially in the advancement of women's rights and the empowerment of women in the work that she does with World Fair Trade Organization and with the organization she also heads in Asia Pacific. When you read up about her, what did you feel?
Oh my gosh. I didn't know anything, about her. So I was kind of stalking her on her Facebook, and then I messaged her on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
And we connected on LinkedIn, and I was just
Nice.
to say hello and introduce myself and say I'll see you tonight.
Sweet.
So I am a little bit of the psycho stalker when we have like a special guest. And then I went on her website, and so my impression was, wow, she does such a lot of work. I couldn't believe all the things she's trying to do with getting these goods that are made by these displaced women into the market, and education of children was another area that she's she's in. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to meeting her tonight.
Me too. In fact, before inviting her to the show, we actually sat down and had like a 2.5 hour lunch because there's just so much to talk about, right?
Right.
So without her explaining to you the complexity of what she's doing, you probably you wouldn't realize the kind of work she does, the impact she gives,
No.
and then all of the hard work she needs to make sure everything works together. Like clockwork, all the pieces that she touches, which we can share with you later, is really complex, yeah. And then you realize how much she has come so far as a woman leader, really.
Right, and it said from the website, and I'm sure she'll tell us when she arrives. But she's been doing this type of thing for over 20 years.
Yes, exactly.
Of knowledge and skills, so she must have learned
Experience,
so much,
stories to
way.
tell and stuff like that. Yeah. So while waiting for her, of course, we shall spin some music tonight. Tonight I put together a playlist, of course, as usual. We celebrate love, but the first 3 songs is actually a tribute to her ethnicity. Now, Mitos is actually Filipino. Mabuhay.
Yes, she's Filipino.
She's Filipino. So I wanted to play these 3 artists. Who are famous Filipino singers, right? Some of them I'm sure you know. Like the first one I played, she was in Broadway for Miss Saigon. So when I say Miss Saigon, it should ding ding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, the only one and only famous Alia Salonga, and then of course 2 more artists, which you can guess later after I've played who they are. Yeah, and also we'll talk about why this month of March is special.
Right. I know the answer to that.
Yeah, of course, because it happened yesterday. What was yesterday?
It happened yesterday was International Women's Day.
Yes, celebrated worldwide.
Yes, worldwide. I was scrolling through my phone and I saw the pictures at all the different locations around the world, and it's just incredible to see all the women coming together to kind of celebrate themselves and their sisters and mothers.
Exactly. At so many levels, because I see a lot of conferences, tech conferences for women, at the corporate level. Then at the individual level, women were celebrating in their own way. Then you have events, you have concerts, you have talks, you have podcasts, so many things going on.
I know.
All over the world. And marches, don't forget.
Yes.
You went to one.
Well, I didn't go to the march part. I kind of met the group after they were convening at Taipei Gate. Okay. And then there was quite a few women on the stage speaking. So I listened to a few of the speakers, and they were very, very good.
There you go. So Meredith has something to share as well. I'll just share some good news about what's happening yesterday and all over the world, some of the initiatives that everyone has been taken to celebrate women. So we shall go for a break now with 3 songs by Filipino artists. For you, Mitos, Urgel, if you're on your way to the studio.
I hope you're listening.
Yes, I hope you're listening. And we'll catch you later. So stay with us at Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Accompanying you every night with the coolest music on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
came through. It was a day that I found you. When hearts get broken and scars are left just token, it's just so typical to be cynical. But life does mend our hearts like new. I know now that I found you. Baby, you're the reason I smile again. I thank God for you. In a world that's full of possibilities, I see them all come true. Baby, you're the reason I live again. You make me feel so brand new. Baby, you're the reason. We met when we were both lonely and uncertain. Each coming from a place, needed time and space. But then fate stepped in with a plan. Now two hearts beat as one. Baby, you're the reason I smile again. I thank God for you. In a world that's full of possibilities, I see them all come true. Baby, you're the reason I live again. You make me feel so brand new. Baby, you're the reason. In the still of the night, I close my eyes as you hold me so tight. Our love just feels so right. Here in your arms I feel your love is real. Don't ever let me go. Your love makes me glow. Baby, I want you to know that I love you so. Baby, you're the reason I smile again. I thank God for you. In a world that's full of possibilities, I see them all come true. Baby, you're the reason I live again. You make me feel so brand new. Baby, you're the reason. In a world that's full of possibilities, I see them all come true. Baby, you're the reason I live again. You make me feel so brand new. Baby, you're the reason. Baby, you're the reason. One day, wait and see. One day, one day, just wait and see. One day, I'll make you a believer. One day, I got this, all I need is one day. Don't try to tell me I can't. I'm not in the future. I won't stop on my booba. You gotta know again. High and free, it's not fate. Wait and see. One day, one day, one day,
Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Hang out with us every night with the coolest music in town on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai. Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM on the one and only Women's Show on a Monday, March the 9th.
Yes.
Yes.
Monday, March the 9th.
This is DJ Jacklyn.
And DJ Meredith, how are
Yes.
you?
Yes, I hope you guys are feeling good on a Monday. Yeah.
Yes.
On your way back from work, school, on your way out to dinner. I hope you had a good day regardless. Stay with us for the next 90 minutes as we bring you great songs, love songs, and of course, a one and only opportunity to have an intimate conversation with Miss Mitos Urgel, whom we hope will turn up very soon. She's rushing on her way, flying from somewhere.
Right, she just had the time confused a little bit. So
That's right. It's
yeah,
okay.
it's okay. It happens.
Yeah, stuff happens. It's okay. And more importantly, we can now talk a little bit about what's going on International Women's Day, which was just yesterday.
I know.
So what was the event you went to?
Yeah,
Meredith?
so the event was at Taipei Gate, like I said, and there was kind of a small gathering. They had done a march. They were wearing kind of coordinated T-shirts, which I actually love the T-shirts. I can't remember what they all said, but it was, saying all the things they were kind of for, safe things that women can be safe for, safe in the workplace, safe.
So safe, basically.
Safe
the word
was like the word.
safe.
It was
Okay.
safe, and then it was listing all these, things for women. So I thought that was cool. And there was all kinds of people sitting down and had their shirts on, and like I said, and then there was a few, must have been special guest speakers,
Yeah.
up there talking in Thai and in English, and they seemed to have a wide assortment of people on the stage, holding signs, cheering, and then there were some booths set up off to the side, which were probably some of these types of organizations where they're trying to get,
Right.
other women involved in organizations that are helping other women.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's nice to have this in this part of town, isn't it?
yes.
As I was just saying to you on our way to the radio station, is that from where I come from in Singapore, we do not have protests, gatherings, marches, any of that sort, because it's highly regulated. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not something I grow up with, not in that kind of environment.
Yes.
But for you, it's completely different because you're American.
Yes.
You worked in Washington State before.
Yeah, Washington, D.C., people are protesting things all the time, right in front of the White House. In fact, people are always marching with their signs and making noise and, doing things like that. So they used to actually have the White House. You used to be able to go right in front of it. And
The
then
White House lawn, right?
Yeah,
We
right
see
on
a
the
lot
White House
in the
lawn.
movies. Yeah.
And then they finally decided to block off that certain part of Pennsylvania Avenue, which is the street that runs right in front of it. So they finally blocked that off to give a little more privacy and a little bit more
Security,
distance
I
and
think so,
security
yeah.
for the people there and the protesters. But yes,
Yeah.
it's very common.
Happening.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know. I mean, as I was going through the internet and researching on what was being done for International Women's Day, there's so many things all over the world celebrating women and all of that. I just want to raise one point which I read, which is the Duchess of Sussex. Her name is Meghan Markle. She used to be a U.S. actress, right? Before
Yes.
she married Prince Harry.
Right.
So she did a Megxit, they quit the royal family, never mind. But anyway, they just came back recently, and she attended a event in a school. Actually, a couple of events that she went to. But there's one particular one where it stood out, where she said she actually addressed the school about women, because it was International Women's Day, right? And she was telling the men in the audience to that their job, their main responsibility, or whatever they should be looking to do, is to protect women growing up. As men, they should be protecting women. What do you think when I say that?
What do you mean? What do I think? Like,
Okay,
what
I'll tell
pops
you-
into my head?
Yeah,
or-
I'll tell you what I think. Okay, then maybe that helps you to form some thoughts as well. What I thought, this is my opinion only, yeah? Okay, it doesn't represent everybody, but I like to say that we don't have to depend on men to protect us. It's nice if they can protect us, but I believe women is capable of protecting themselves. That's
Yes.
one. Second thing is that we need men not to protect us. We need men to be in partner with us. Yeah?
True.
Yes, they need to be in the same journey with us. They need to be progressive in their thoughts. They need to be empowering women, giving women opportunities and all of that, especially in certain industries or certain situations where it's harder for women to break the glass ceiling. Yeah. So that's my first thought. I said, I don't need men to protect me. No, girl, no. I can protect myself, but I want my men to be partners with me. Do you think I was thinking along the right track?
I think I think you were thinking along the right track. You didn't come completely out of left field with that, but I'm sure she was just talking about. But she might have been talking about like the physical type of protecting, know,
Maybe.
and then
In that context.
mentally, emotionally
Yes.
protecting, like supporting. I think probably would be a better word,
Possibly.
like supporting.
There you go. I
Yes.
would have liked it if she used the word support. The men support women, not
Right.
protect, because protect, it seems that there's an alpha role.
Right.
When you protect someone, there's an alpha role, right?
Yeah, you
And
think of
there's an
you think of like the person that's going to jump in front of you to physically
Exactly.
perhaps like protect you from something. but-
Exactly. So that to me was a missed opportunity to, I think, bring her what you call it, her opinions and her voice across, because she's very passionate about some of the things she believes in. That's one of the reasons why she wanted to quit the royal family, is to focus on some of the social initiatives that she's passionate about.
Right.
So
Well,
there's a
she's
lot-
been doing this a long time. It sounds like from things I've read
yeah.
about her, she's been doing things, empowering herself and other women in a variety of capacities for a long time. So
Yeah, she did, and she also volunteered in Africa. She did a lot of work for women, for youth, and all of that. So just unfortunately a little bit misunderstood by the British media. So that's my.
so
that's
did
my
did they pounce on her for those?
Oh, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
Big time.
Oh.
Then again, it's a question about perspective and perception. Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes you could be living your life in a bubble, and you actually don't know what you think you're doing is right could be very wrong in the eyes of others. So I think it's just missteps all the way for her. She may genuinely wants to do good things and wants to change and transform some stuff, but just went on the wrong foot maybe. Yeah. But anyway, that was what. So I just want to share also very quickly while waiting for our guest, Miss Mitos. I hope she turns
Flying
up.
here.
Flies here.
Flies here.
I still have not got a message from her yet. So is that the Netflix? We all watch Netflix, right?
Yes.
Yes. So Netflix, the United Nations, and 55 women in film actually team up for an International Women's Day collection.
What does that mean?
Yes, so a group of 55 influential women have curated a list of everything you need to watch on Netflix to celebrate International Women's Day.
Really?
Yes. So, and that list, that collection is called Because She Watched. All right. So if you go search on Netflix on the streaming platform, and you have actresses like Salma Hayek, Sophia Loren, Laverne Cox, Millie Bobby Brown, together with director Ava DuVernay, activist Janet Mock, etc., to recommend films, documentaries, and television shows that inspire them.
Wow.
Okay, so the collection represents a range of different experiences on screen, from life in prison in Orange is the New Black, to life in the White House in House of Cards, for example.
Okay, so
Or-
this is part of the list.
This is part of the list.
Oh, that
Interesting,
you-
right? As well as a
right.
documentary, Paris is Burning, and breakout films like Roma and Bird Box. You know, you can find Bird Box in Netflix and stuff like that.
I've never heard of
Yeah.
that.
So I just find it very interesting because
It's
Netflix-
nice that they came together and tried to
Yeah.
come up with some. I actually have a recommendation for you
Tell me.
for Netflix.
Yeah.
I just started watching this. I'm not done with it, but it's a 4-part documentary called Daughters of Destiny.
Okay.
And it's about an Indian school. Have you seen this?
I haven't, but I read it. I think. Go on.
Okay, yes, about an Indian school and
Mhm.
this man's vision. I think he was Indian American, but
Yeah.
he sold his businesses. His vision was to find this school
Yep.
that was going to help girls and boys from the lower caste in India. They were called like the untouchables.
Yes,
like
the Untouchables. Yes.
this caste, and he was going to select 6 girls and 6 boys to start at 4 years old from their villages to come to this school, and he was going to give them all the tools, the education, the empowerment, all these tools to go through every grade, and taking 12 new kids every year. And now I'm on the 3rd installment of the show, and I'm watching now these young girls graduate, and they've gotten accepted into these universities. And so the idea is this one girl from the family can raise the entire family out of poverty with her job that she is going to get after university, and then that in turn she gives back to her whole community with this job and resources and things that can lift an entire community right up off the poverty line.
Right.
So it's a very interesting
Very
social
interesting
kind of
work.
experiment.
It
that
is,
he's
and I
doing.
think also the main point of doing that is to break out of a caste system, isn't it? So if she's educated, she's able to progress through the caste, maybe.
Right, I don't know.
I don't know if they
I don't
allow
know if
that
you
kind
progressed
of
like that.
mobility, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I know of a guy who did the same thing. I don't know
Mm.
is it the same guy, but it wasn't an Indian guy. I think it was an Indian guy as well. But what he does is exactly the same thing, but helps them to progress up the caste to the Brahmin level. You know, the Brahmin level is the highest
It's the
level.
highest
because the
level.
priest, right? And
Right.
below it is, I think, landowners, merchants, and something like that. This is a certain hierarchy of castes, basically. So with what he's doing through education,
yeah,
empowerment, he was hoping to move them through the caste system.
through the caste system. Well, yes, I guess if you're talking about it like that, because that would make sense if you could move through it. Because then if you're coming from maybe a lower caste and then you end up with college degree and a great job,
You
and
can
then
buy land. You
yeah,
can,
right. Then
be a merchant.
and then your
you can-
children would have a different future. So
That's
that
so
would seem like that would make sense.
amazing. Isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah, I was actually very inspired some years back when I saw that documentary on exactly the same thing you're talking about.
Right.
So we should catch it then. Daughters.
I think it's called Daughters of Destiny.
Okay.
Something like that. Now it's really good. I just started watching it. I'm only on like the 2nd episode. I think there's only 4 parts, but it's following the children through the school and the struggles that the owner had. He really thought, he had enough money saved to kind of fund this school on his own. He was a very successful businessman. But however, about halfway through, he realized, no, I actually don't have enough money. And then he actually had this thoughts of, I'm going to have to close the school. And he was struggling, and then figured out, no, we can ask people for help, which is important.
So catch it if you're listening right now. Daughters of Destiny on Netflix.
Yes.
About
Empowering
women
through
to
education.
to break through taboos, caste systems, pushing the boundaries, all of that.
That's
I
right.
think that's very inspiring. So now I have Mitos right outside the studio, and I'm going to bring her in a while. But meanwhile, we'll go for a short break,
Okay.
have a song, and we'll come back with our special guest for
Yay.
tonight. So thank you so much. Stay with us at Relax Thai Radio, 93.25 FM. Relax Time Radio, 93.25 FM. Chill and relax with us every night on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
your trauma. Overseas, yeah, we trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living in the USA, the big CIA, the Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. But if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate, and to discriminate only generates hate. And when you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Yeah, madness is what you demonstrate, and that's exactly how anger works and operates. Man, you gotta have love just to set it straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love, y'all.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach and what you turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
It just ain't the same, always in change. New days are strange, is the world insane? If love and peace is so strong, why are the pieces of love that don't belong? Nations dropping bombs, chemical gases filling lungs of little ones with ongoing suffering as the youth are young. So ask yourself, is the loving really gone? So I could ask myself, really what is going wrong in this world that we living in? People keep on giving in, making wrong decisions, only visions of them dividends. Not respecting each other, denying thy brother. A war's going on, but the reason's undercover. The truth is kept secret, it's swept under the rug. If you never know truth, then you never know love. What's the love, y'all? Come on, I don't know. Where's the truth, y'all? Come on, I don't know. Where's the love, y'all?
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach and what you turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? 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 Where is the
I feel the weight of the world on my shoulder. As I'm getting older, your people get colder. Most of us only care about money making. Selfishness got us following the wrong direction. Wrong information always shown by the media. Negative images is the main criteria. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. Kids wanna act like what they see in the cinema. Yeah. Whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the fairness and equality? Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity. Lack of understanding leading us away from unity. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling under. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling down. It's no wonder why sometimes I'm feeling under. Gotta keep my faith alive till love is found. Now ask yourself,
Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love?
sing with me, y'all.
One word, we only got one word, that's all we got. One word, and something's wrong with it, something's wrong with it, something's wrong with the world, yeah. We only got one word, that's all we got. One word.
Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Chill and relax with us every night on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai. Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM on the one and only Women's Show on Monday, March the 9th. If you just joined us, this is DJ Jacklyn together with
DJ Meredith.
and our guest of honor just turned up. She flew right in. Welcome, Kun Mitos.
Yes, Mitos Urgel here. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for the patience.
Yes, we've been looking forward to this for months, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
excited.
Yeah. The last time we spoke was, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. Nicely introduced by DJ Tom. So if you're listening in, thank you for introducing
Thank
Mitos
you
to
for
me.
connecting us.
Yes, and giving us the opportunity to bring her on a show to celebrate women.
International Women's Day.
Yes, that was yesterday, right?
That was yesterday, but we have the whole month of March to celebrate women's victories and
Thank-
achievements.
I love that. The first thing she says is victory. That's great. Shall we start, Kumitos? I'm going to, give you lots of time to make up for the time that you've lost.
Yes.
So for you to just keep on sharing with us about yourself, firstly, about WFTO, World Fair Trade Organization, and of course about WEAF, which we can still also cover the next couple of weeks if we don't finish
Right.
it tonight. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so my name is Mitos Urgel. I'm
Urgel,
from the
Urgel, huh?
southern part of the Philippines.
Right. Okay.
That makes me a Filipino. Yeah.
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay.
Yeah.
And I've been working on the Thai-Myanmar border here in Thailand, actually, in the last 20 years. When I came to Thailand, I was with the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Environment. And
Representing Philippines, or you came?
no, I was
working
doing volunteer work through the Voluntary Service Overseas,
Right.
and we have partnership with the government, and so I was assigned to the Ministry of Science and Technology, Environment and Technology, and then
20 years, right?
that was 20 years. I
Okay.
think that was more than 20 years ago. And then I found myself, I was a VSO. I was a Voluntary Service Overseas. We have a South to South volunteering program. And I ended up working with a women's organization called Women's Education for Advancement and Empowerment.
Right,
Or
which is
weave.
weave.
Literally also weave, because we're working with weavers. So we're doing women's economic empowerment through weaving.
So it was through weave that you went onwards to WFTO? Is that route?
Because weave is a member, it's a guaranteed member, a guaranteed fair trade of the World Fair Trade Organization. So we are an enterprise, a fair trade enterprise.
All right.
Weave.
And it's set up by the Thai government in the initial stage.
Of you mean weave?
Weave. Yes.
Weave. We are a foundation in Thailand. So we are one of the foundation in northern Thailand, working with economically displaced women. So our work is with women in northern Thailand.
Okay. So throughout your time in weave, right? WFTO. So you've come to represent the advancement of women. To me. I mean,
Yes.
you are like a little package of Spitfire.
Yeah.
I was telling Meredith. So
Yes.
much energy,
So
so
much
much
passion.
passion. Yeah, and this is something you've done for 20 years.
Yes, actually in Thailand, yes, 20 years, but I was also involved in the Philippines. So my work has always been to empower economically displaced and disadvantaged women, particularly hill tribe women. And so like 10 years, I was doing rural development in the Philippines, in the north, and then in the last 20 years, I've been involved with economic development work for women here in northern Thailand. And this is we are working through the World Fair Trade Organization.
Okay. So anything personal you want to share with us about your background? Like, how many siblings you have?
I'm an only child. In Thai, they say kundiao.
Just like me, did you know?
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay, so we have our strength, I can tell you.
Yes.
Meredith.
We
but we
were
also-
brought together.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we can also share your opportunity areas.
I'm passionate with social development. With
From a very young age.
Yeah, from a very young age, because I grew up. There's a history there. I was born during the martial law. Well, I grew up during the martial law, the very dark days, history of the Philippines in early 70s. And so I grew up in a community where there is fighting. And so I remember as a child, I'm wondering why there is so much fighting happening. And it's a very fearful time during the time. And I was growing up, questioning myself whether this is the normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as a child, I think that my social justice lens started when I was a young child. I see a lot of inequality. I see a lot of poverty happening, and that and especially because I love to go to the mountains, so I climb mountains. I visit rural communities, and I saw the deplorable condition of women and children. And I see a lot of marginalization and oppression. And actually, that sets forth what I decided to do when I was growing up and what course I want to take when I go to the university.
Right. So
Wow, that's powerful.
it is. I think your passion and who you are really as a woman leader today is very much shaped by the environment you were growing up.
Yes,
So that really
definitely.
imbibe in you that deep core passion for injustice, I think,
Yeah,
in general.
yeah.
So and then you work towards women, of course, and children. So when you look back all these years, I mean, we've so many questions to ask you, right, Meredith? Maybe one of the questions I want to start first, yeah, shall we?
Okay.
What are you most proud of when you look back in your life and all the work that you have done for either WFTO or we?
I'm most proud of the fact that my mom raised me
yeah,
as a very independent child.
for an only child. Huh?
As an only child, no?
Yeah,
So
interesting.
when I was young, I remember my mom would always tell me, and I would say that maybe when I was 6 years old, it started since I was 6 years old. My mom would always tell me that if you want to eat, you need to know how to cook. My mom told me that because I'm an only child,
Yeah.
so my mom said that nobody will fight for you. You have to defend yourself. And she told me the very basic things in life, but then I realized that actually she was preparing me for bigger things,
Such as?
negotiating, because she said nobody can negotiate for you. So as a child, she would teach me, when you buy something, you need to know how to negotiate. Yeah.
Wow.
So I managed to find my way, given the very small amount or few resources, that I can actually buy a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Because I know how to
Art of
negotiate.
negotiation. Yeah,
So
okay.
I learned such negotiation skills even
Okay.
when I was young girl.
So your mom has been like a role model for you. I think she's inspired a lot of life skills
she
in you.
inspired me a lot, actually. She's a single mom, by the way.
That's even more inspiring.
That's even more inspiring.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I also realized that growing up with other kids who doesn't have actually puts me in like a better position, which when I grew up, I felt I felt some kind of a guilt, knowing that I have so much and other children doesn't have. And that's why my mom said, you have to use that power in you to do something for other children who are in need. And again, that shaped the way I look at life and when I grew up and even up to now. So at the age of 52, that was like,
That's your age. So I told nobody my age. Nobody out there
Nobody
knows
know.
my
Nobody know.
age. We're all like hovering around that number.
Right.
Right, Meredith?
I'm around that number for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, so my next question really is like, who inspired you and why? And I would like to thank your mom.
My
Yeah?
mom. I think my inspiration is my mom. Yeah, she is the driving force behind all the things that I have when I reach to this stage. And I always say that my mom is the wind beneath my wings.
Wow, okay.
So
So
sweet.
definitely. So the one that's supporting you silently, but full of strength behind you, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. I mean, as a woman leader, Mitos, you are the president of World Fair Trade Organization for Asia Pacific. I was looking at the World Fair Trade site, right? I realized you have many offices all over the world. You
Right.
have Africa, Middle East, Europe, US, and you are responsible for Asia
For the Asia.
Pacific, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, as a woman leader, what are some of the barriers you have faced, you know, in your career journey as a woman? Do you think it's something that you encounter
I think,
often, or you just
Well, once in a while, I think, especially when I started, because my name, Mitos or Hell, sounds very foreign, you know? Mitos. So people would think Mythos like a Greek name, and Orhel is like a Spanish
Yeah.
or a German
Yeah.
surname.
yeah?
So I remember before when people would come to the office and they would say, we're looking for Mitos or Hell. And I was like, yes. I mean, sometimes I have to repeat it 3 times, yeah, to say that I'm Mitos or Hell, you know?
Were they expecting?
I think there's some kind of a, I mean, it's always about
Interesting.
stereotypical, you know?
Exactly.
It's stereotyping.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm Asian, you know? So I think that is some of the things that I found. I don't really take that as offensive,
Yep.
but I took it as a basis for next time when I meet people, that I have to be forthcoming and I have to be very confident.
That really teaches you, right, at that moment to break the stereotyping.
Yeah.
I think the more they don't expect a woman, Asian woman, corresponding to that name,
Precisely.
the more you should prove it otherwise.
Right.
That's your point, right?
That's right.
Wow. And how have you proven it? Tell us about breaking those barriers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also a matter of, it is more challenging maybe for a woman of my color, because it's like I have to prove, no? And sometimes it takes time, you know, because sometimes you are not being listened to. Yeah, and so sometimes it is very challenging to bring something, to bring a message, something. What I found is actually, if they are able to see how I perform or what I accomplish, it's easy for them to believe, you know. So it is somehow challenging. But there are instances wherein, for example, in the type of work that I do a lot of training, I do a lot of talking, and when I finish talking, they would come to me and start, having some kind of a conversation. So somehow I managed to deliver or bring message forward to them.
You brought up a very important point, which we have talked about it before, Meredith, which is performance. Yeah, in one of the series that I've done in the past, is that because we are women, we have to work harder than anybody else.
Precisely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and because we have to work harder, we have to make sure our performance is sterling. You know, we give off our very best, so that when we have conversations with anyone, nobody's going to pick apart your performance. Yeah, because
Right.
you have proved it. So that helps to win half of the battle, isn't it?
Yes.
Because, okay, that's good to know. I mean, there's a lot of things we can ask you. Also, is like, do you face a lot of resistance when you're leading men, especially in your role?
Yeah, actually, like I mentioned, so before I came to Thailand, I was working with a social development organization, and primarily I work with farmers. I work with people in the hinterlands,
Yeah.
and they don't really have higher education. That's why I have to go down to their level, and I learn how to live like them, and I learn how to talk like them. And mostly these are male-dominated, communities.
Yeah.
So during those years when I was in the Philippines, I was really trained how to, to have the punchline. When you talk with men, how do you approach them? And because I started as a fresh graduate. And so if you meet a farmer, for example, like in his 50s, and I'm a very young girl of 21, of
can
course,
imagine.
they would say, you are just,
You're just a small girl.
starting. You're
Yeah.
just starting. You're
Yeah,
only
like
rising.
Kind of what are you going to possibly tell me?
Right.
That I don't already
that I don't
that-
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to help me.
Right. Yeah. So those years, those were my formative years where I learned how to interact, how I learned to deal with men. And of course, in the Philippines, we're kind of hierarchical also. So we have to follow the hierarchy, So when I came, when I came to work in Thailand, I learned how to navigate my way. So I managed to send message across without being very offensive, you know, and which actually allow me to earn respect from the men that I've been working, particularly those men who are in a very economically disadvantaged. No, they only know that they have to eat. So when we start talking about training, they said, but we need to eat, you know, we want food. And you are training me for such many days, you know. But again, what I learned is that, yes, there are men who resist at first, but you need to earn the respect. And I think I managed to do that.
How
in
did
my
you
work.
manage to earn the respect?
I
Through
think
hard work?
It's too hard work, but you cannot just preach. You need to be a model. You have to show to them
You have to walk the
that you
talk.
can do it. Yeah, and I have been many instances in my life wherein I was tested. You know,
Yeah.
I was tested. They would say we will have a meeting at 5 in the morning. You know, and I have to wake up very early in the morning.
They test you like that?
They test me like
They
that.
just want to see what sort of
Yes.
resilience you have?
Yeah,
Sure,
how
sure, sure.
much, how far this little girl or this girl can go.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. I mean, well, okay. I'll just have one more questions really to ask you as a woman leader. Then we can go for a short one song break and we can talk about WFTO maybe, yeah, because we really don't have much time. I think the really one big question I want to ask you is that what is the biggest challenge facing women leaders today? Okay. And what would you actually advise them as a woman leader?
Like I mentioned earlier, it's about stereotyping, you know.
That's good. That's one.
So I think one of the barriers that women face is the role of harmful gender norms, you know. When somebody is being coined or being stereotyped on a particular role.
Yep.
Another one that I see is that sometimes, if not more often, there is that disconnect between the women leaders and the community where they are serving. Sometimes there are some women leaders or there are some leaders that are unable to fully represent the community that they are working, and sometimes that puts
Why would they not be able to fully represent?
Sometimes because sometimes self-interest comes into the picture. That's why it is very important also that women leaders needs to be authentic. These are some instances where I see in those community, and those are the things that that's one of the things that I see.
Okay.
So I think that's
Okay. And that said, right? And what do you think that a woman leader should always possess? Some traits that a woman always should possess in order to break those stereotyping, in order to be authentic. What are those leadership traits that they should have in order to be successful?
I think because we are operating in a world wherein there is inequality,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not, there is that unequal treatment between men and
That's
women.
reality.
That's
yes.
why the pressure for women to step up is higher than men. As a woman leader, we need to be able to know what we are talking about.
Okay.
We need to be able to know what we are fighting for.
Yep.
And for issues that represents women's interest, that represents women's needs and women's rights.
Okay. I hope that's clear to everyone that's listening in right now. Meredith, what's your take so far?
I'm just taking it all in like a sponge.
She's
I'm gonna save my questions for after the break. So
okay.
taking it all in.
Yes, I'm inspiring as always. Yeah, and more importantly, learning a little bit about your personal background, how it has brought you to where you are today. We are very much always a product of our own childhood experiences. I always
right.
believe that, yeah. So it was the external environment that shaped you and created the passion in you, and especially your mother. I'm sure she played a very critical role in all of that as well. So thanks for the little advice about breaking those barriers and what are some of the things you learn as a woman leader. So I'll just play one song, and after that break, we'll talk about WFTO, shall we?
Okay.
And why it's such an exciting organization, because Meredith and I were researching on it and we realized that it looks fairly simple, her, but I was just telling her it is actually really complex.
Yes.
Her job has so many touching points.
Yeah.
She has to work with so many different parties. It's unimaginably difficult. But there she is today, the president of WFTO Asia Pacific, and of course she is here because of her abilities, competence, and everything else. So very thankful that you are with us tonight. We shall come right back, so stay with us at Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Hang out with us every night with the coolest music in town on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai. Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Chill and relax with us every night on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai. Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. This is DJ Jacklyn with you on the one and only women's show with DJ.
Meredith.
Yes, and our guest for tonight, Miss Kun
Mitos.
Urgel. Yes. So thank you for sharing with us a little bit earlier about some of the work, your background, some of the work you've done as a woman leader. What are some advice you would give to women leaders out there? Very short and simple, but really good. I just played Bruno Mars. I don't know if you know he's half Filipino.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Ah.
He's got some Filipino blood in him.
Wow.
Yeah. And earlier before you missed out,
Right.
I actually played songs by Leah Salonga,
Wow.
Cherise,
Cherise.
and Sarah Geronimo.
Sarah Geronimo.
Yeah, Geronimo. Okay, sorry. This
Geronimo.
is the Spanish way of pronouncing G.
Yeah, become
Geronimo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. So
Geronimo.
hope you enjoyed that song. Now we can talk about WFTO proper. So Mitos, you've been. When were you appointed president?
elected.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, elected.
Yeah, I was elected during the I think 12 biennial conference in Kathmandu, Nepal, last November 2018.
Fairly
So
recent.
fairly recently.
Yes, it's
and
fairly recent.
you said it's a 4-year
It's a 4-year term. Yeah, it's a 4-year. Yeah, one term is 4 years.
So you need to be nominated by.
We have a very democratic way of electing our officers that will govern the organization. So
Okay.
we are elected by the membership.
I see. What is the membership counting right now?
The membership, well, as we are part of the global movement of the World Fair Trade Organization, and I am the president of the Asia region.
Yep.
WFTO is spread in over 70 countries with more than 400 members.
401.
In 401 to be
Yeah, to be
accurate.
exact, yeah.
Yes. And we are operating in 19 countries in Asia. We have members in 19 countries in Asia of over 140 members.
Okay. And these organizations, are they private institutions?
We are fair trade enterprises. We are entrepreneurs,
Right.
So companies running businesses, but we are in the business of doing fair trade. Yeah. Meaning to say that as social enterprises, we put planet and people first over profit. As entrepreneurs, as enterprises, we need to be able to generate income. Where we are supposed to generate profit, but the profit should be fed to our social and environmental mission,
Yes.
and that puts us that makes us quite unique.
So I was looking at the WFTO website. So they have a mission. There's 5 mission points. Yeah. There's also the 10 principles
Of fair
of fair
trade.
trade. So that drives actually all the organizations who aspires to be part of
Fair trade.
WFTO. Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
So for them to be an organization, a business enterprise, whichever it is, to get your WFTO mark,
Mark.
so they have to adhere to all these principles in
That's
chart.
right. So we do peer visits. We do verification. So our work is guided through the 10 principles of fair trade,
Yep.
and we are verified through those as a standard. Yeah, and as enterprises, we need to comply with those standards.
Okay.
And if we are successful, then we will get the mark. We will get the guaranteed fair trade mark.
So this is from the production side, right?
This actually, there are many certification bodies around the world.
Okay.
WFTO is very unique because it actually guarantees the organization that weave fair trade is actually complying to the 10 principles of fair trade. It speaks about the organization, how we conduct our business. Meanwhile, other certification is about the product itself. Ours is about how we conduct the business, how we select the producers, how we manage our production processes,
Right.
in an ethical, in a responsible, in a sustainable manner. And so there are some benchmarks that measures how we are performing.
Well, to everyone that's listening in, if you need to know more about those 5 mission statements I told you and the 10 principles of fair trade, you can find it on the WFTO website, yeah? But Mitos, just take me through. Let's say, for example, I am a group of farmers from a specific province, let's say in Thailand, okay? And I want to be part of the WFTO because I want the trademark so that I can create those products according to those 10 principles of fair trade and then have a chance to export it out to whoever is going to buy, right? So if I aspire to do that, what is the process of getting that certification and working with your organization?
The guarantee to
Yes.
become a member
Yes.
of the WFTO.
Yes.
So we have our office in Culemborg in the Netherlands
Yep.
is the one that do the processing of applications.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they will log into www.wfto.com, they will be led to, if you want to apply for the membership. So it is easy to just check in the website of WFTO.
Okay.
And then they will be our guarantee system personnel will be contacting them, because there will be steps that they have to comply. We have to apply using a self-assessment report, wherein we have to do inform about the work that we are doing, about the organization, and if we are complying with the how we are performing with the 10 principles, and as well as if there are things that we are not yet doing, how can we improve? And that application will be submitted, and that will be undergo due diligence, and so there will be process of application as well.
So
I was going to ask, so for example, like how long could it possibly take then for an organization? Because there's all these steps. So from start to finish, what's a typical length of time?
At least you need to be able to establish that you are an enterprise, that you are a business. And then you will submit it and you will be given at least 2 years. That is the max. If you can do faster than that, the processing can be faster, then that is also possible. But
So-
at least within 2 years.
2 years from application to go to market is 2 years.
To the application to become a member.
To be a member is
That is the maximum. You can do it faster than that if you work really, in the application.
wow. Okay. I mean, my next question really is probably along the same line as yours, Meredith. Is like, so if I'm, let's say, an illiterate band of farmers, right? So obviously I wouldn't know how to go to do all these things. So how do you get the
So we the guarantee.
tribals or indigenous groups to
Yeah, actually, the group of assessors will be working with you. So they will work with the enterprise in order to help to assist in completing the form.
okay,
So we have a procedure for that.
regarding of regardless of language or
Actually, we have in other languages, but I think for Asia, it's only English for the time being.
okay.
Yeah.
So how would you help? Sorry, Meredith. How would you help like someone from the tribal areas or in the border areas that you're working for who obviously may not have the language access a platform like this?
Yeah, I mean, we can always assist if there is an interested group, but they lack the language skills. I think it is easy. We can always assist the process for that.
Okay, right. So right now, in the Myanmar-Thai border region, that's where WEAF is concentrated, right? The work. So
In northern Thailand, yes.
in northern Thailand, yes. Okay. So examples of some of the results, the impact that has been achieved to date, you would like to share with us just a little bit on that?
Yeah, actually, of course, one is about the income,
Okay.
because it is the ability to have secured livelihoods through handicrafts is a very good way for families, for women to be able to contribute to their families. But actually, for the women that we are working, it is not just about the income, but it's really about the status of women, where women are under recognized, they are invisible, they don't have any voice. So by having the ability to participate in fair trade activities, women are able to expand their knowledge and their power and their status as well. So they are not just able to bring income to the family, they're also now able to increase their decision-making power, because if in the past the women are just dependent from their husband, from the income, the women are now generating their own income and they can decide how best to use the income. We have also seen that there is a role reversal. If in the past men are the one that looks for money, now it's the women that is leading, at least in the group that we are supporting. And so, but men are delegated to taking responsibility at the household, like looking after the needs of the kids at home, while the women are doing the income generation. We have also seen women have increased their credit worthiness. If in the past, the neighbor wouldn't lend them money, but when the neighbors see that they are actually bringing, raw materials, threads, products, now the shops in the community are actually offering them, for some credit. So it gives a sense of self-esteem and self-confidence to women. There are many other impact we have seen, including the recognition in the community, and also the mere fact that, by the way, these women that we are working, they don't know how to read and write, but they are crafters. They are very good in arts, and so through the weaving, they have actually, I would say, they started to heal themselves, because they have been subjected to multiple trauma, and they have been subjected to multiple, abuses as women. But when they started to do their handicrafts, when they started to weave, they are actually able to heal themselves, which for us is a very good tool. It's a barometer that the project is actually working, and it increases their creativity, their innovativeness, because they are in the hinterlands, they are in the mountains, and they have very few colors, for example. But when they receive new orders with very strange colors, they started to appreciate, because in the past they used to mix the pink and the yellow. But now we have to teach them the different colors, color combination, product design and development. They have actually expanded, and you can just see, they become alive when they see all these beautiful threads in front of them, and they're able to create something
they're being
beautiful.
Inspired by the knowledge that they have gained, basically, in the entire process, isn't it?
I would say, yeah, it's like those are just tools, but at the end of the day, it's the women themselves, I would credit it to them, because actually they're the one that designed the product. Sometimes they would tell me, I feel bored with this color, especially like if we have order from Europe and it's for the winter, black and
gray.
Black and gray, and they would say, this is so boring. And they want to put something, But again, I would always say that these women, they might not have the necessary knowledge and skills, or they don't have that education, but they are weaving the beautiful patterns of their lives into the fabrics that they are creating. And for us, that is very powerful, They see the beauty. Now they can smile,
Okay.
How do the women find you? Like, how do the weavers find?
We actually started with a very small group of women, and that was because there is not much enough money for food. But then, because the approach of Weave is always developmental, we don't see us. We are working in a humanitarian context in one location, But however, we use developmental approach. We don't believe in dole out. In relief. And so when we asked the women if they have tools, and they said, oh, we have looms, the backstrap loom that they are using.
Yep.
So we said, well, if you have the tools, then maybe we will bring you the raw materials and we will try to find the market for you. We started with very few numbers of women, but we told the women actually that we said we will come to help you, but you need to help yourself, and if you have improved your life, then you have to help others. And so the women themselves are the one that are recruiting other women from the community, and that's why the number of women have increased.
So what kind of numbers are we looking at, Mitos?
We are looking at maybe around 250.
Wow.
It's still a small
Currently.
number of women in comparison to the huge, the huge population. But there are also some restriction actually, because if you're working in a displaced community where there is so much trauma, you cannot concentrate. If you have a problem, you're not in the position to really concentrate.
Yeah.
And so some of the women are participating in training, but there are women who are already, they are already on board doing the production work.
Right. So, Meredith, this is just one part of weave, which is the production side, yeah? Because there's also another big piece out there, which is when you have companies buying those products. That's one. Then you have sponsors, yeah? Don't forget.
Yes.
Yeah, you have donors. So all of that, when corporations do CSR, corporate social responsibility, they may actually adopt a particular initiative or project, right? And basically sponsor in terms of financial, but they also ask for specific returns as well. So we've talked about this the last time, because there's also that piece to manage. Then besides that, Mitos, your work also involves managing supply chain, right? The production.
We do.
So you have certain standards of production. So tell me, in a normal day,
What's your typical day like?
What's your typical day like?
Oh,
Like,
it's
there's so many things.
I can only do paperworks
Okay.
maybe 7 in the evening. 6, 7.
Okay.
Because my day is devoted to talking to my colleagues who are involved in the production, who are involved in the marketing. Who are involved in the process of doing work in our social development, because we do have a social development arm and we have the fair trade enterprise arm of Weave.
Okay. So I mean, that's pretty complex to me, but what is your vision, okay, and legacy that you want to leave behind in your role as president of WFTO Asia Pacific and Weave? Just share with us, what is your vision? What do you hope to see 3 or 5 years down the road, really?
We hope our primary concern is really to provide safe and dignified livelihoods to the economically disadvantaged communities, particularly in Asia. As we know that there is this growing gap, between, the rich and the poor. And always the poor are the marginalized, the disadvantaged, are always vulnerable, particularly now we have this climate change, we have a climate crisis actually. So my vision is actually to ensure that through my leadership that we are able to set the mechanism, the tools to have the necessary measures that the group of fair trade enterprises can have, including involving the whole ecosystem actually, social investor, impact investors, market, play key role in the work that we are doing in WFTO Asia, so that social enterprises will grow and are able to provide more livelihoods to the disadvantaged.
Okay. So, honestly, going forward, you're getting very excited and passionate about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. What keeps you going? What inspires you on a day-to-day basis that keeps you going in your role?
I think many, but many, the children that we are working with preschool children, for example. Many fair trade enterprises have educational programs, and this is particularly provided to children of these parents who are involved in fair trade. The weavers themselves, the artisans themselves, who doesn't have option to have work, not in a, what do you call it, like a small scale handicrafts, because they don't have proper education. The embroiderers, the artisans, that the bamboo makers, the weavers, they are my inspiration actually. In the case of weave, the women refugees are my inspiration because they never give up with their family. They continue, to work. And so they give, I'm inspired by their stories, and that is why it keeps me going.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that is inspiring to me as well, listening from behind the studio, yeah? And is there a commercial arm for weave products, just so we know? Like, let's say, for example, someone that's listening in right now, I want to support the social enterprise. Is there somewhere where I can buy their products? Do you have like a shop?
Yeah, so the commercial entity of Weave, that is actually our sustainability arm.
Yeah.
It's called Women's Weave Fair Trade Company Limited.
Okay.
And we have an online shop. We have the website is www.weavefairtrade.com.
Okay.
And so you can buy from there. We have also in social media, in Facebook.
Yep.
And we also have a showroom in Chiang Mai.
Which part of Chiang Mai?
At Siri Mangkalanjan Road, Soy 7, just behind Central Department Store.
So there you go. I mean, if you're listening right now, we have with us tonight Kun Mitos Urgel, President of World Fair Trade Organization Asia Pacific and Weave. So she's just shared with us some of the initiatives she's done with Weave, the impact, her vision, her legacy. Kun Mitos, I'll be very honest with you. We're touching it at a very, very generous surface because it's just an overview.
Right.
It's just an overview.
We have 2 more weeks ahead of us because you're our guest for the next 2 weeks to celebrate International Women's Day and month. So maybe some of the weeks, like next week, we can go a little bit deeper into World Fair Trade, because I know there's more than just a branding and certification. You have to manage so many other things. Like I said, we can talk about corporate companies, we can talk about sponsors, donors, and all of this aspect that makes up the whole ecosystem for World Fair Trade, isn't it? So much to talk about, Meredith.
Yes.
I think you and I need to do some more homework.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
More
Give us a
homework
week
to
to
do.
catch up again.
Yes.
But it's very, very nice of you to join us. I mean, do you have anything to say before we actually close the show? Because I'm just going to play 1 or 2 songs. Anything you want to say to anyone out there? Any of your fans listening in? Anyone from WEAF or WFTO listening in?
Yeah, actually my colleague know that I'm coming here.
Yeah.
And they said that, we would like to stay tuned,
Okay.
My colleagues with the World Fair Trade Organization as well, and I'm very pleased to have a very strong team, very dedicated people, and because we hope to grow, we are a registered foundation in Thailand with the World Fair Trade WFTO Foundation, and so we are hoping to do a lot of activities in order to engage more Thai enterprises, social enterprises. And also I just want to flag down that actually in November we're going to hold our Asia Fair Trade Summit in Chiang Mai.
Is it the first to be held here?
It's the first in Chiang Mai because in 2016 we did it in Bangkok.
Right. Okay. Wow. So it'd be a big
That's a big deal.
event for you because this is your turf, isn't it?
Yes.
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 So you have like some things to prove.
Yeah. And we would like to engage you Yeah?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
You know what, Meredith and I can be there. We can report live.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we can do a live show there, and then we can also do podcasts and videos that we can also showcase on
Yes.
this platform
That would
as
be
well.
great.
So that sounds really good. So thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mitos, Urgel,
Thank
for
you
coming
very
here,
much.
flying in all the way from your office. Vroom. We didn't miss much because we actually started bang on time.
That's
at 8
great.
PM.
That's great.
Yeah, and sharing so much about yourself, about WFTO, WFTO Asia Pacific, and WEAF particularly. So if you just join us, well, we are at the last bit of the show. You can
Yes.
catch us on YouTube. We have a recorded session of what we have discussed tonight. Yeah, and then of course we continue this again next week with on the same topic but different aspect, because as I mentioned earlier, the ecosystem is really huge to understand world fair trade as a movement, as a platform. Yeah, so thank you for listening to all of us, and I say good night right now from myself, DJ Jacklyn,
DJ Meredith.
and of course,
Mitos.
yes, good night everyone,
Good
and stay
night.
safe and
Good
healthy.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Hang out with us every night with the coolest music in town on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
Baby, won't you tell me why there is sadness in your eyes? I don't wanna say goodbye to you. Love is one big illusion. I should try to forget, but there is something left in my head. You're the one who set it up. Now you're the one to make it stop. I'm the one who's feeling lost right now. Now you want me to forget every little thing you said, but there is something left in my head. I won't forget the way you're kissing, the feeling so strong, we're lasting for so long. But I'm not the man your heart is missing. That's why you go away. I know you were never satisfied, no matter how I tried. Now you wanna say goodbye to me. Love is one big illusion. I should try to forget, but there is something left in my head. I won't forget the way you're kissing, the feeling so strong, we're lasting for so long. But I'm not the man your heart is missing. That's why you go away. I know.
Relax Time Radio 93.25 FM. Your daily dose of chill with the coolest music on Radio Thailand Chiang Mai.
ไม่ต้องเยอะนะแม่มีตังค์
ฮะ เดี๋ยว แม่ไปได้เงินมาจากไหน
อย่าดูถูกวัยเกษียณนะจ๊ะ ก็หมู่บ้านเราก็มีโครงการสร้างอาชีพ แม่ก็ไปเรียนรู้การทำขนมกับเพื่อน แล้วก็เอาไปฝากขายออกร้านขายออนไลน์ก็มีนะจ๊ะ เพื่อนแม่บางคนน่ะไปเปิดฟู้ดทรัคขายดิบขายดีเลยล่ะแล้ว